Now we begin the bulletin by tracking heat waves across the world and giving you the updated figures of the rising mercury from around the globe. Now in the latest, these are the countries that have reported high temperatures, with some going on to issue heat wave alerts. Now U.S. cities are breaking decades-old temperatures records this week as heat waves stretches from central to eastern portions of the country. The rest of the nations, of course, we have is the Balkan nations. We have, of course, we have India. Asia is, of course, recording heat waves, and we have Kuwait, who is now reporting of electricity surge. Now, we also have countries in the Balkan regions that are suffering through it. Now, we, of course, start with the United States. After several days of extreme heat, residents and visitors in Wisconsin are finding relief at Devil's Lake State Park. The heat wave is causing temperatures to spike into the mid-90 Fahrenheit, and that ranges about 32 degrees Celsius with high humidity. Now, New York Governor Kathy Hochul has activated the state's Emergency Operations Center in response to high temperatures expected to last until the weekend. Now, under its heat emergency plan, New York City is opening its cooling centers for the first time this year. Parts of the Northeast and Midwest are wilting under heat dome, with more than 85 million people under a heat alert. Of course, we next go to the neighboring Mexico. The government has said that the country has registered at least 155 deaths associated with high temperatures since March, with 30 in the past week alone. The Health Secretariat has said that at least 2,567 people have suffered heat-related illnesses so far this warm season, which started mid-March and will continue until the beginning of October. Moving on, the Italians and tourists are battling temperatures of up to 39 degrees Celsius in Rome as Italy grapples with heat wave minus. That's the term given to the heat wave. Greenpeace activists filmed Italy's iconic landmarks with infrared thermal cameras, as you can see on your screen, to document the alarming rise in temperatures. The infrared thermal cameras, these are footages from the Colosseum, the Vatican, and the Termini train station that have revealed surface temperatures exceeding 50 degrees Celsius. Now, we of course go to the Balkan regions next. Belgraders are braving scorching temperatures, which are forecasted to reach 39 degrees Celsius. Now, they are seeking refreshments in the city's Ada Lake mountains and cafes. Now, health authorities have declared a red weather alert there. Of course, then we have the scorching heat, which is also sweeping across Bosnia, as temperatures are soaring to nearly 40 degrees Celsius amid a heat wave that is expected to last at least 3 days. Local doctors are warning the public to avoid outdoor movement during peak heat hours. Temperatures are not expected to subside until next weekend. Medical emergencies are reporting an uptick in patients being admitted with heat-triggered symptoms. Temperatures in the Balkans are expected to surpass 40 degrees Celsius as warm air from the Sahara brings dry conditions and extreme heat. Now, in West Asia, Kuwait is also another country that has announced temporary power cuts in some parts of the country during peak consumption hours. It is saying that it is struggling to meet increased demand spurred by extreme summer heat. Kuwait's meteorological department has said that temperatures have neared 50 degrees Celsius in the region. Listen in.
Honestly, we are shocked due to the decision to cut off the electricity, where the electricity is cut from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. And as you can see, the temperature might reach 52 to 53 degrees.
Now, for more on this, we're being joined by Vikram Krishna, who is the co-founder of the Sacred Groves, a climate action influencer, conservation commerce advisor, and an e-waste warrior. He's joining us live from Dubai. Welcome you, sir. Now, let me begin by asking you, now these are heat waves across the world. And this is some really basic question. A lot of people are going around saying, oh, well, it's just a hoax. people don't really believe that it's actually real. So could you tell us and make us understand that is this real and is it happening? Climate change, how is this happening?
Okay, so let me reference it to the temperatures that you just announced in your program. So we are at a stage as a planet where global temperatures are getting warmer each year. So to put that into context, if you look at the past 6 years, each year has been hotter than the previous year. So we are at about 1.3 degrees above the baseline. So baseline was about almost 70 years of temperature that was then averaged. So we're at 1.3 degrees above the baseline. And as the world gets hotter, it is quite obvious that more and more such extreme weather events will happen. We are now well heading into the 1.5 to 1.75 degrees over the next 7 years. So one can expect each year conditions to become more and more challenging for humanity as we speak. These are just basic mathematics. I think we need to just start listening to the science around climate change. We need to start understanding what does extreme heat mean, and more importantly, start reflecting on what do we need to do as individuals to make that change. How can we make that difference? And I think that's really where a lot of the work needs to be done.
True. Now, when you talk about, so there's this term that is going around, it's called heat dome, right? So can you explain what this heat dome is and how serious is that matter?
Okay, so I'll try to put it as simply as I can. As the temperature rises, pressure rises along with it, right? So imagine a pressure cooker. As you heat up anything in the pressure cooker, the pressure rises and heating gets accelerated. So whatever is getting cooked in the pressure cooker gets cooked much faster than a regular appliance, which may be an open vessel. So we are experiencing as a planet a similar situation where as the heat is rising, the pressure is rising as well. And when the pressure rises, it creates like a wall, like a dome around areas, especially urban areas. So urban areas which are like heat islands, when they produce heat, that dome does not prevent that heat from escaping in that area. So then local conditions become hotter and hotter to manage. So that, in a very simple way, is what a heat dome is. And of course, we're having another challenge, which is the La Nina kind of weather conditions, which is just making things a little bit more complex.
Right. Now, next, you mentioned in your first answer that we need to focus on what we can do as people. Now, we always depend on the government to make policies and everything. As individuals, what are the basic, simple things that we as people can take?
Yeah. So, you see, it is common knowledge that, as we, environment and natural environment have a positive consequence on temperature. So forests, for example, which is a rich source of life on the planet, they are getting destroyed. So every 6 seconds, a soccer field equivalent of forests are destroyed. So say for example, we are talking today for 5 minutes, about 10 acres of forest would be gone forever. So I think this can't really go on forever. And a large part of that is not just legislation or actions of corporates, but also things that individuals can do. So what I always advise people to do is to think of 3 things, right? First is, how are you spending your money? So please make sure that you start, when you're purchasing anything, start looking at this whole topic of, is it good for nature? So the clothes that I'm buying, the car that I'm riding, the things that I purchase, do I need them? Can I recycle them? Can I reuse them? Can I repurpose them? Do I need that 10 t-shirt? And so on. So make sure that when you're spending on stuff, it is a lot more conscious in terms of its footprint on the planet. The second is vote, right? So please make sure that, like for example, this year, India's just gone through its election cycle, but about half of the world is going to go through elections this year. So make sure that you're choosing your politicians when you choosing your legislator, you choose individuals and parties that are tangibly, they've got methods, they've got policies that can actually influence the growth of nature as well. So I think vote, pay for stuff that matters.
Right.
And last but not the least, change your thinking, right? Mindset. So
Yes,
search, note, and vote.
absolutely.
If you get the three together, then
I
it can
think-
make a big difference.
Right, right. That's where we need to probably basically just know that, well, climate change is real. So thank you so much, Mr. Vikram, for joining us on the show and giving your insights.
My pleasure. Thank you. Act now.